بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمين وعلى آله الطاهرين وصحبه الخيرين الغر الميامين ومن تبعه إلى يوم الدين وبعد. Last time we started talking about the existence of the Creator, how to prove it. And as introduction to this topic, we started talking about defining the intellect, the reason, in Arabic, and we talked about its factors, that there is no thinking process unless you have the reality, you have a brain that can interpret this reality. And how can the brain, get connected with the reality, so to speak? Well, by using a sense, which is the third factor, and the fourth was the previous information you need in order to interpret, in order to understand the reality. Once you have the four elements, factors, now you can say that I am thinking. And we started by answering the question of, can we think about the existence of the Creator? Since none of our five senses can perceive the Creator himself. So how can you think about something that you can't perceive? We just mentioned that the sense is one of the four elements, one of the prerequisites in order to think. And the answer was very easy, that you can think about something that has traces. And we mentioned that there are two types of traces. One type is the trace of, as we called it, that time, it was the trace of existence. And the trace of existence is, for instance, the chairs, the tables, the pens that we are using. These are traces of an existence. But we don't have anything, nothing of the pens or the tables or the walls that are here in this room. None of them can tell us anything about the physical attributes of the manufacturer, of the creator of those things. So if I ask you, how long is the person that made those chairs? You wouldn't be able to give me an answer. So this is the trace of existence. If a detective, if a police officer would see a dead body and a knife stabbed into the heart, he or she would conclude, there must be a person responsible for this murder. There must be a murderer or a killer. But they can't say anything about the physical attributes of this person. Yes, maybe they can conclude that he or she must be strong in order to, stab the knife into the heart or the body of the dead person, but nothing about the length or width or weight or anything other about him, unless they see the other kind of traces, which is trace of being. Fingerprints, footsteps, and such items that can be categorized, that can be classified as traces of being. Once you see a fingerprint, it belongs to a person, to an animal, it belongs to a cat, or any other species. So, we can think about traces. We can think about traces. And since we ourselves are traces of the Creator, because we are the creation of the Creator, yes, we can think about the existence of the Creator. And in such way, we see that the topic is intellectual. It's not a metaphysical topic. It's not a matter of, starting illusion or starting some kind of wish wish thinking that yes, there is a creator because we exist. It's not a matter of wish thinking, it's a matter of intellectual investigation of this question. And the evidence or the proof that we provided last time, we can call it the proof of needness. Because we see that everything is limited. And this limitation, it's imposed. You can't do anything about it. Your length. You grew up when you were little. When you were little, you grew up and you became 160, 170 meter, but you can't do anything about that. If you are 160 and you wish to get 180, you can't do that. Maybe you can take some, I don't know, hormones or vitamins or whatsoever available in the market, but you would reach a limit that you can't pass beyond. And who imposed this limitation upon you? This is question number one. When we contemplate, when we think about the rest of the creation, we see that each and every one of the creation, regardless, human beings, animals, fishes, birds, planets, anything is imposed with limitations. Either when it comes to, in terms of weight, length, width, knowledge, and so on. So we see that this limitation, since it's imposed on every and each single being in the universe, that means that everything in the nature is submitting to a creator. That means that the creator is the one responsible for imposing such limitations. And if I am limited, that means I am in need. I am dependent on something else. And we see that this is the situation. We need air. We need food. We need to get rid of the excrements in our body. We need to get rid of the sweat in our body in order to survive. So if we need something, if we are dependent on something in order to survive, so that means that we are in a far greater need in order to come into existence. So this is the first proof. This is the first evidence that we provided to substantiate the question of the existence of the Creator. Now, there was a question last time: is this proof scientific? The question is very easy. No, it's not scientific. And I think that we have to deal quite a lot with the word science and scientific investigation and scientific topic, those things that are related to science. You see that what is science? Just to start with it, what is science? We see that science is quite related with empirism. So unless you can experiment, unless you can elaborate, it's not scientific. And a very easy and a very available example is our feelings. According to science, does our feeling or do our feelings exist? From a strict scientific point of view, are there any scientific proofs for the existence of our feelings? There are none. Yes, there are some evidence for the existence of chemical reactions in the brain or in our bodies, but not for the emotions, for the feelings themselves. Can you provide me with a scientific